Welcome to Moxie Bets, presented by Caesar Sportsbook. I'm your host, Katie Mox. Coming up on today's show, we'll give you our over and under reactions for the week in all sports, but mostly just the NFL. And there were plenty to choose from. We'll preview Thursday Night Football between the Titans and the Packers. Can Aaron Rodgers save the Packers season? We'll go ahead and get into that. And of course, you've got some Mox Locks coming your way. But we're going to welcome in Kenny Bets Big before we get started. Kenny, how you doing today?
Well, it's all good on the betting front. I've been pretty hot, winning a lot of money, but I've spent all morning looking for my wallet. I lost it. So,
oh no!
Yeah, it's one of the most frustrating things when you lose something, you can't find it, and I'll be like, oh, I left it in these pants. So I go and pick them up, and it's not there, and I'm like, damn. And then I'll be like, oh, it's got to be here. So I'll run over there, and it's not there. So,
did you have a lot of cash in there, or?
No cash, just my credit cards, my license, which is always annoying because then you got to go get a new one to get the duplicate. It was a Gucci wallet, so it was an expensive wallet, but I'm hoping it turns out.
All right. I will say, Kenny, though, there are good people in this world. My mom, when she was bringing me Edie, when I moved from California to New York, it was about 2 months, she used to carry around this little wristlet, and she had $600 cash in there, all of her credit cards, everything that she possibly could need, and she left it at JFK at the airport. And as you know, it takes about an hour from JFK to get into the city. She realized when she got here, because I ordered her an Uber, that she didn't have it. And I remember thinking, okay, Mom, if it's stolen, it's stolen. And, if it's turned in, then it's already turned in at this point. Like, if she wanted to go back to the airport, I'm like, at that point, it'll have been 2 hours, and whatever happened to your wallet happened to your wallet. But it turned out that a month later, she ended up getting a Facebook message from the woman at the Lost and Found, and somebody had returned everything. The $600 cash, everything was still in it. So even if you haven't heard anything yet, it might turn up.
I have a very similar story to that. I bought, when Maria and I first started dating her, I bought her a bag and a matching wallet.
Cute.
The bag gets stolen out of her car. Okay. Oh. She left it in her car, ran into CVS. Someone went in her car, stole the bag out. A week later, she loses the wallet. Okay. A year later, she's like, hey, it's weird. I went on Facebook messages and I had a request from a year ago. Someone messaged me and said they found my wallet and they were trying to return it to me, but she didn't see the message. Luckily, it was at a Wawa, so they still had the wallet. She went back. She was able to get it. It's pretty crazy.
See, that's the thing. So your wallet could turn up. I'm putting all that good juju out there, and we'll see. You'll have to let us know if it does end up turning up. So let's go ahead and start the show here with some overreactions. What do you think in the NFL or in sports right now that people are just completely overreacting to?
All right. So now when you hear me say this, don't kill me because I know it was an amazing play.
Yes.
But people, we got to pump the brakes here on the Justin Jefferson catch saying it's the greatest catch ever. Do you not remember the David Tyree catch in the Super Bowl or the Julian Edelman catch in the Super Bowl that helped their teams win the Super Bowl?
Yep.
When you consider, all things in,
or the OBJ catch also. I mean, there was more on the line for those games. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. There's more on the line, the moment, the pressure. So, as great of a play as it was, best catch ever, let's slow down on that.
Well, and people are like, oh my God, it was an act of God. It was the most incredible thing. And look, not to take anything away from Justin Jefferson, it was an incredible catch. But was it also Josh Allen just wet in the bed? You know what I mean? Did he just not have a good game there? So I feel like I agree with you on that. And my overreaction kind of goes hand in hand where it's like Kirk Cousins is not going to lead the Vikings to their first Super Bowl, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and pump the brakes on Kirk Cousins. That win against the Bills, that catch, everything. It was very exciting, but it was not because of Kirk Cousins or necessarily that catch, although that catch was a crucial moment. It's that the Bills completely fell apart. And as far as I can tell, Kirk Cousins has only won, one primetime game in his entire career, and you think he's going to get to the biggest stage that there possibly is? Let's go ahead and pump the brakes on the Vikings and on Kirk Cousins going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would say the Bills fumbled that win away, no pun intended, more so than the Vikings actually won the game, right?
Yeah.
So.
But again, we don't want to take anything away from that catch. It was an incredible catch, but I don't think it was like the greatest thing that we've ever seen and the best moment. I will say it is kind of disappointing because I am such a big Josh Allen fan, and I still do think that the Bills, they're my futures bet. Obviously, my heart bet is on the 49ers, but I was really heavy on the Bills this season, and I still am. But the fact that Josh Allen is on the wrong side of history of like the best game of the season 2 years in a row sucks. And I know you're not a big Josh Allen fan.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of egg on my face to start the season, but slowly and surely, my predictions are coming true, baby.
You're like the 49ers. You start out slow and then you end up victorious at the end of this season. Okay, let's talk about underreactions. What are people not talking about that they should be?
You want to talk about starting slow? The Bucs,
okay.
It is not talked about enough that the Bucs are legitimate Super Bowl contenders this year. I've only been saying for, I think every episode I've been on your show. Yeah, every episode I've been saying, don't count the Bucs out. This is just, we see it every single year with Tom Brady, whether it was with the Pats, the Bucs. They just start slow. There's always growing pains, and it takes a little bit of time to figure those things out, work out the kinks, and come down the end of the season, the stretch where it really matters, playoffs, the division on the line, season on the line. Who do you want at quarterback? You want Tom Brady. You could talk about how good the Vikings look, how good the Eagles look, but in the playoffs, are you going to bet Kirk Cousins over Brady? Are you going to bet Jalen Hurts over Tom Brady? It's just not happening. So, yeah, I think the Bucs need to be talked about a little more as legitimate contenders.
Well, I will say in our group text with me, you and Danny, you had said, and it was a great win. And divorced Tom is 2-0 so far on his divorced season. And I think you had said, you were like, they're going to win out for the rest of the way. And, they're Super Bowl contenders. And I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes. It was one win here, but we'll see. I think you said that they could win over their win total. That's something you're still taking, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have to win out for to hit it. So, fingers crossed. The schedule is pretty weak. If you look at who they have left, the Niners are really their only challenge left. And in San Francisco, I'm sure Tom, from the area, I'm sure he'll be very hyped for that game. Yeah. So I think they could definitely go in there and steal one from the Niners.
Well, we'll have to see about that one when that game comes up. My underreaction, what I think that people are starting to talk about but not talking about enough, is that Justin Fields is elite. He is an incredible quarterback. And we were talking about it on this show just a few weeks ago saying, is he the guy? Can he be the guy? Is he the problem? Well, he has 602 rushing yards in the last 6 games. That is the most by a quarterback in a 6-game span in history. He's got 749 rushing yards on the year. That's on pace for 1,273. That would be the most of any quarterback in NFL history. Right now, surprise, surprise, the leader is Lamar Jackson. He's at 1,206. So Fields is on pace to rewrite the history books here, and I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, I definitely think he'll do it because you look at the offense. It's Justin Fields, you watch the Bears.
Finally started playing to his strengths, finally.
Yeah, right. I mean, you look at from the beginning of the season to now, they're a totally different offense, right? And I think we even talked about it a couple times on this show because when we were doing the preseason, win totals, things like that, I liked Justin Fields. I didn't hate him. I just didn't think they were putting him in the right position. They weren't really calling the right plays. Now you see him. They're showcasing how athletic he is. Like the guy is – not many guys can do what he can do. Just let him go out there and do his thing. So, yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right, people, we're brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the greatest sports betting app of all time. See, it's not just about the daily promos, odd boosts, or the hundreds of ways to wager. It's about the immortal words of Caesar himself. You bet, you get with Caesars Rewards. Every bet you place on the app, no matter the outcome, earns towards exclusive perks at Caesars Rewards destinations everywhere. Hotel stays, concert tickets, bonuses, and more. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app, become a Caesars Rewards member today, and get more with every wager. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-522-4700. Starting your own business, it can be a total roller coaster. Between all the bumpy twists and turns comes the actual business side of your business, which can really throw you for a loop. Luckily, with QuickBooks, you can manage your business with confidence from the start. So no matter how bumpy the ride gets, you can always stay on track. New business, no problem. Success starts with Intuit QuickBooks. Learn more at QuickBooks.com. Time now for Capper's Corner. We're going to preview the Thursday night football game of the week. Actually, a good matchup. We don't always see good matchups for Thursday night. We've got the Titans and the Packers. Titans are the dogs here, plus 143 on the money line if you think they can win straight out. Packers minus 170. Spread 3, just a field goal favoring the Packers. This over-under is now 41. I will say it was 42 yesterday. And if you watched Sportsline, I told y'all to grab it on Caesars at 42 because it was going to drop. And guess what? It did. What's a bet that you like? Are you taking anything full game for this matchup?
Yeah, so I haven't locked anything in yet, and I'm probably going to wait because I do think the line could tick up. But I lean Titans here plus 3, and and it's weird because the Titans are a team where you look at their matchups, and I feel like they find themselves as underdogs in a lot of situations where you're questioning like how are they the underdog there. And usually in those spots, I would like to fade those teams. But for whatever reason, Mike Vrabel and the Titans, they just win as underdogs. Vrabel is 19-7 against the spread as an underdog. That's 73% when he's a dog of 3 or more.
Yeah.
He's won 7 out of his last 8 outright. So the Titans find themselves as 3-point underdogs in Lambeau on the short week. They have a very good defense. The defense is elite, best rush defense in the NFL. So I think they will be able to make the Packers one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only bad news is that one-dimensional, you still have Aaron Rodgers on the other side.
Well, but here's the thing. You do have Aaron Rodgers on the other side. So I took the under in this game. Now, I got it at 42. It's 41. I would probably still take it at the 41 because, yes, they still have Aaron Rodgers, but he did appear to re-aggravate his injured thumb on that strip sack in the second quarter when they won against the Cowboys this weekend. He was a non-participant in Monday's practice. I'm not sure if he's practicing today, but I don't really think that means anything. I definitely think that he's still going to play. But if you think about it, it's a short week. Okay. He's not going to have a lot of time to heal up before Thursday night. So what are the Packers going to do? They're obviously going to rely on their ground game versus the Titans. And it did work on Sunday. The Pack had over 200 rushing yards and they scored 31 points. But to your point, and that's not to say that the Cowboys don't have a good, rush defense as well, but Tennessee's defense has been outstanding. They allowed just 18.7 points per game. They've also been extremely stingy against the run with 85 yards per game allowed on the ground this season. That's it. The under also 7-2 in Tennessee's games this season, 6-0 in their last 6 games. So I do feel like it's going to be lower scoring. It's going to be more of a ground and pound, which we see all the time. So I'm going to take that under. Any prop bets you're looking at?
Yeah, so I'm going to go Derrick Henry over 99.5 rushing yards. Packers rush defense, not their strength. Their defense is actually pretty bad against the run. They're 31st in the NFL in regards to DVOA versus the rush. So last thing you want to see is King Henry coming at you, especially coming off a bad game versus the Broncos. And then you just look at the last 3 guys who Green Bay's faced. Tony Pollard, 22 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Williams with the Lions, 24 carries for 81 yards. And then Singletary, when they played the Bills, 14 carries for 67 yards, which may not sound good, 14 carries for 67 yards. But you look at the Bills' run game, it is really, really bad. Almost every single game, it's Josh Allen or bust. So the fact that Singletary was even able to muster 67 yards just highlights how bad this Green Bay defense is at stopping the run.
I love this bet, and I'm taking this one as well. And I think maybe a lot of people don't know that there's a lot of history at stake, actually, for King Henry this season and certainly in this game. So he's on track to join Jim Brown as the only players in NFL history with 100 rush yards per game in 4 straight seasons. He also can become just the 3rd player of all time in the NFL in rush yards per game with 4 straight seasons. Jim Brown and Steve Van Buren both have 5. And to your point, he's got a really great opportunity to regain the NFL rushing yards lead against this Green Bay Packers defense that ranks 28th in rush yards allowed this season. Right now, Saquon Barkley is the current leader with 931 yards. Henry's got 923. So it's like he's gonna regain the lead in this game and hopefully make some history this year. But I love that prop. Anything else you're looking at?
Yeah, and which is crazy to think because Henry got off to a really slow start. I remember he was one of the guys that liked to lead the league in rushing.
Yeah.
After the third, fourth week, I was like, he's got no shot. So to see him right there is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And I think he's going to make history this season. And I think he regains the lead in this game.
Yeah, we're hoping, both of us.
We're hoping.
So
Get over. Yeah.
King Henry's running wild in Lambeau.
Yeah.
Next one, I'm going Aaron Rodgers' longest completion, over 36 and a half yards.
Okay.
Yeah, and this one, I like it a lot. He's hit this in 5 out of 10 games. 2 of the games that he didn't hit it, his longest completion was 35 yards in 2 games. So he missed it by a yard and a half. He's hit this number in 3 straight games. He's had a 58-yarder, a 47-yarder, and a 37-yarder in 3 consecutive games. Titans defense is dead last in the NFL in DVOA versus the deep pass. So not very, the Titans defense, for as good as they are, they're not very good at defending the deep ball. And what is Aaron Rodgers great at? Throwing the deep ball. We saw against the Cowboys, right? He connected with Christian Watson for a couple of them. So, when we did this show 2 weeks ago and we were talking about the Packers-Lions matchup, I talked about how, you can kind of see in the previous week, Aaron Rodgers was starting to figure it out with his new wide receivers. And I think fourth quarter versus the Cowboys is just more evidence of that, right? He's starting to connect with these guys. So I think we'll see typical primetime Aaron Rodgers, load up, hit a 50, 60-yard bomb for a touchdown. And I think we'll cash this one pretty easy.
I love that, Kenny. And I feel like you and I are kind of on the same page. I'm taking Rodgers to throw an interception. This is at plus 147. Is that what you said it was? 146? I saw it at 150 yesterday. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's plus 146.
146, people. And look, Rodgers did not throw an interception last week, but he's got 7 on the season. He threw 3 alone against Detroit. All of those came in the red zone. And yes, I did just mention that I think the Packers are going to be running the ball a lot, which is true. However, even with this injury last week, he still attempted 20 passes, and I think he had 14 completions. So as great as Tennessee is at stopping the run, I do think that Rodgers is likely to air it out more than he'd probably like, especially in the red zone. So I hope he gets that longest completion for you, and I also hope that he throws a pick, because at plus 146, 147, I don't know why I keep forgetting what exactly it is, I think it's worth a sprinkle for him to throw a pick. Injured, and he's going to be airing it out.
Yeah, 100%, especially when, just look at the numbers on this year alone for quarterbacks in prime time.
Yes.
For the first 6-7 weeks of the season, I think every quarterback in primetime games was throwing a pick. So the odds are definitely in your favor here.
May the odds be ever in our favor. All right, let's get in now to Mox Locks for the basketball slate tonight. Can be college or NBA. What's your first lock?
Yeah, so let's mix it up. We'll go college basketball.
CBB.
We'll switch it up, right, for the people listening. When I filled this in on the rundown for us, Texas was actually the underdog. That was like 2 hours ago. Now they're 2-point favorites. So
cross through 0. What happened? Injuries or what?
Honestly, I don't know. I was trying to figure it out, but then we had to hop on the podcast. So yeah, the line has swung 3 points. Texas is now a 2-point favorite against Gonzaga, mind you. Gonzaga is, I think they're the number 2 team in the country right now.
Yep.
So this is a perfect fade the public spot where you have a lower ranked team favored over a higher ranked team, especially a team like Gonzaga, where it's just a public darling. Everyone likes to bet on Gonzaga. Give me Texas in this spot at home. I think they'll get it done tonight.
Okay. I love that pick, and it's very interesting. I'm curious to see. I wonder if maybe some injury news or something will come up, but good fade the public spot. Katie Mox, I tend to be a homer every once in a while. When I was looking at the NBA slate today, I did see that the Warriors are taking on the Suns tonight. And I'm taking the Warriors on the money line. They're dogs here, but the money line is minus 105. So it's been a rough start. Okay. It's been a rough start for the Warriors so far this season, but they are coming off their best offensive performance of the year, dropping a season high in points of 132 against the Spurs. The starting 5 have been awesome. Their bench sucks. Obviously, when we got rid of Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton, we've seen that the bench is just not strong. Hopefully that as the season goes on, they start to pick up. But I do still think that they're stronger than the Suns bench. And the Suns did blow out the Warriors earlier this year. I believe it was by like 29 points or something really embarrassing. We don't even want to talk about that. I think they're going to be down 2 of their key players tonight. Chris Paul and Cameron Johnson are questionable, trending towards not playing. Golden State is one of 3 teams yet to win on the road. They are 0-7, which means they are due. And Curry has been on absolute fire, averaging 31.5 points per game on 69% shooting. I think the Warriors get it done tonight.
Yeah, I actually had the Suns when they played earlier in the season, and I was looking at that game tonight. I love the Warriors in that spot.
Let's go. Oh my God, I feel like we're really on the same page tonight, which I appreciate. What's your second lock?
It's not often, right? Sometimes
ever.
I just think that's a perfect spot for them, especially I think they rested Curry 2 nights ago, and Jordan Poole went crazy that game. He had 36. So
party.
Yeah, right. It's a pool party, baby. Mm-hmm. I think this is a perfect bounce back spot. You talked about how they haven't won on the road. Everyone's going to be thinking Suns. They looked at what they did to them earlier. Yep. And, we see it. Steph Curry, these big stars, when they get blown out and they come off a bad loss, they come back the next time with a chip on their shoulder. So I think Steph Curry's going to go absolutely crazy tonight. Even Clay, remember him? That was the game Clay and Devin Booker got into it. And they were talking. Clay got ejected. First time ever.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, so good get right spot, good bounce back spot. And the Warriors are starting to heat up. The offense was definitely clicking in this game against the Spurs. And, the Suns are likely going to be down 2 of their stars. So can Devin Booker do it all himself? I don't think so.
Yeah. What do you what are your thoughts on James Wiseman? I saw he just got demoted to the D League, right?
But I thought it was so funny. I was just talking to my brother about this. And we were talking about football, and then I think you got to go to college, people, okay? You got to go to college, and you have to play, and you need the experience, and you shouldn't just go straight to the league because it starts to show those cracks in your foundation start to show later. So, Wiseman might end up being a huge bust for the Warriors.
Yeah, and for an organization that doesn't miss often in the draft, you talk about Clay, Draymond, Steph, Jordan Poole, passing on LaMelo Ball. Man, can you imagine that team if they had LaMelo Ball?
No. I mean,
it'd be scary.
It'd be scary. I mean, they're already scary, but it would be terrifying. It'd be like, Freddy Krueger level of terrifying. It'd be like Christian McCaffrey on the Niners. I don't know. But what's your second lock?
Second lock, we're going to go to the college football this weekend. And similar spot as the basketball one that I just talked about, we're going to take the Baylor Bears over TCU this weekend. TCU, undefeated, 4th-ranked team in the country, coming off a huge upset win over the Texas Longhorns last weekend, facing unranked Baylor in Baylor, and TCU is an underdog, a short favorite. They're 2.5-point favorites in that spot. So, I love Baylor this weekend. We see it year in, year out. Whenever TCU or one of those like Big 12 teams is undefeated, they always fall short at the end. Pac-12, Big 12, whatever those teams are, you see it. Oregon undefeated at the end of the year. USC undefeated at the end of the year. They always seem to slip up right at the end. So I like Baylor a lot in that spot.
All right, I love that. I mean, TCU has been a huge public dog winning outright, so you think that Baylor is going to get the win?
Yeah, I think this is a perfect spot where, people have been thinking TCU is going to slip up at some point, and they just keep proving everyone wrong. Yep. And like you said, the public has been cashing in big, and we see there's always that, rug pull from out from underneath where everyone's going to think, TCU right at the finish line, they're not going to fall short, but they're going to fall short, trust me.
Okay, trust him, he says. I'm still in the NBA, and I'm taking the Rockets +9, which I can hear people like, Mox, what are you thinking? You're crazy, versus the Mavericks tonight. And sure, it is hard to fade the Mavs, especially after that win over the Clippers. Luka Doncic was just crazy, 35 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. But sharp money and, big money and sharp money are all on the Rockets and the points tonight. And why is that? Well, because there's a strong indication that Luka is not going to play in this back-to-back. He had nearly 40 minutes of action last night. If you watched his post-game interview, he said he was going to talk to Jason Kidd and see if he was going to play today. And it really made it seem like he's acknowledged the fatigue of this really massive early season workload, also fresh off of the Eurobasket run. So I feel like Luka's not going to play tonight. And so I'm going to go ahead and give the points to the Rockets.
Yeah, I like that spot a lot, especially the back-to-back. And, Luka, more than anyone, night in, night out, when he's on the court, he's carrying a very big workload out there.
Literally, the entire workload
for his team, which, pat on your shoulder, your Luka for MVP looks incredible right now. The guy's absolutely balling this year, right? I can't forget that.
I know. We're right. Yes, I do have the Luka MVP ticket. Although I will say, Steph Curry, for an old guy, is putting up a good fight on that one too. He's been absolutely crazy. But yes, I do think that Luka is going to win finally the MVP this year. All right, Kenny, anything else you want to discuss with the people today? Anything else you're on?
No, that was it. I think, in the Titans game, I think one thing you could do is tease the Titans and the under. Katie likes the under. I like the Titans. Yeah. So if you tease the Titans up to 10, the under, what was it, 41, 42? So you get
41
under 49.
So yeah, tease that up. Yep. Yep. I love that. You and Danny have both been giving out these teasers every single week, and I feel like they have been hitting these same game teasers on the total and on the side, and they've been cashing for us. So we appreciate that from you guys.
Last week, you and I both said in the Chargers-Niners game, you could tease every single way, and you would hit, and they all hit. You would have went 4-0 on the teasers in that game.
Man. All right. I didn't actually lock that one in. What an idiot I am. I'm locking it in tonight, though. We're also adding the teaser to the Mox Locks because they have been cashing for the people. Kenny, thank you so much. You can follow him at Kenny Bets Big on social. This has been Moxie Bets presented by Caesars Sportsbook. And don't forget to follow us as well at Moxie Bets. We'll see you next time.